Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the first time watching review series where we watch films for the first time and review them, of course. And today we're going back to the Friday the 13th franchise since it is that time of the year again. It's spooky season, October, and of course, what other movie will it be than Friday the 13th Part 2? So if I just reach up here and get the 8 film collection, here is very nice with Jason there. So obviously in the last video we watched the original Friday the 13th, and now we're going to be moving on to Friday the 13th Part 2. Yeah, so this is actually a good, exciting film because this is actually the first film where Jason is actually the proper killer in it. First one was his mum, Pamela, so it's good to actually finally watch a film, or finally be watching a film where we see Jason as the main killer. And as an adult as well, he's not a kid, unlike the first film, which he was shown in this flashback. So let's, as always, quickly read the description. So, 5 years after the massacre at Camp Crystal Lake, the legend of Jason Voorhees lives on. Despite ominous warnings, a group of counsellors encounter horrors of their own. So, yes, very exciting actually. And I know Jason doesn't actually have his hockey mask in this film as well. He's just got the sack head. He's just the one as sackhead Jason in this film, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. That'll be part 3. That'll be in the next video. I've looked forward to that. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it because Jason's in it, and Jason is honestly one of the GOAT of slashers. He's up there definitely. I think he's one of my favourites as well. So yeah, I think I've done enough talking. Just yeah, talked about how excited I am to watch the film and how good it looks. How hyped I am finally to see Jason. And yeah, again, as I said, enough talking from me. Let's just get this down in the player. Let's pop the TV on first. Perfect. Look at that. It's already on Blu-ray. Just press that. Wait for it to load. There we go. Get the disc out. So here we are, part 2. And it's actually a red disc, unlike the first one this time. Actually, the rest of the discs onwards are actually all red, so it's pretty interesting. I think I've said that in my unboxing review of this Blu-ray, but yeah, let's just go get this out if I can. There we go. Friday's version part 2. And then we just pop it in the player like that. And again, just wait for it to come up. And here is the film already and set up to play. Very interesting menu as well. Listen closely, you can hear Jason's sound effect of the breathing. That's pretty funny, and I like the calm, unnerving, eerie piano music. It's pretty ominous. And I just noticed this actually, like at the bottom it's like machete running along it, and then there's all the stuff, so that's pretty cool. The options are there. So I have play, settings, scenes and extras. Of course, obviously we're going to pick the one that says play, so yeah, without further ado, let's just press play on Friday the 13th part 2. See you after the film.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, you guys, look at this.
It's Camp Blood. This place is on the same lake as we're going to be. You still out there?
Jason.
Some sort of demented creature.
If I was you, I'd have located in the next county. Quiet for 5 years, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded and he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again.
Oh my god, oh my god.
So just finished watching Friday the 13th part 2, and I'm happy to report that it was very good actually. I really enjoyed it. It was actually really entertaining. A good sequel definitely for sure, and much better than the first one because, as I said, Jason's actually in it. But not only that, it actually surprised me with the kills and story. It actually surprised me with a lot of things, some of which we'll talk about deeper in my review. So yeah, but first reactions, first thoughts from just finishing the film. It's really good actually. If I had to describe this movie in one word, it would easily be surprises. It would definitely fit that term because, as I said, this film is full of surprises. It's honestly probably the most surprising Friday or slasher film you'd come across, in my opinion. It might be too early to say, but I'm confident in saying this could be possibly the Black Sheep. Maybe some other films could beat this. I don't know, but at the time of me just watching this and having started the Friday franchise, it is a Black Sheep. It is really different compared to the others. It's just really cool and good, full of good stuff you wouldn't expect from this film. This film, you'd probably assume it's just the same as the first one. Very lackluster and boring, but it actually took me by surprise. I keep saying surprise because it really is of surprises. Anyway, instead of listening to me for 10 minutes straight talking about how this film has so many surprises, let's just get into my actual proper review. So, the plot of this film is standard Freddy stuff. It's all the usual camp-based setting or camp kids that are so stupid that are literally asking to die. So it's safe to say I'm not very sorrowful when Jason kills them one by one throughout the film. It's the same stuff. It's literally it's the second film, but you can already tell this is going to be the way. This is how it's going to be. This is the way it is for pretty much most of the films following this. Apart from a couple, maybe part 4, maybe part 8. Anyway, yeah. It's also the first film, speaking of Jason, where we see him as the main killer, which is very cool. Because obviously it was his mother in part 1. He wasn't even the main killer, so yeah, it was cool to finally see our main man take the centre stage, but he's still got no hockey mask. That comes later in the next film, which is part 3, which we'll take a look at soon, but his design in this film is what I like to refer to as sackhead. It's literally just a bag over his head, slapped with some farmer-style overalls and clothing. He's literally got one eye hole to see. He doesn't have two. All you can see pretty much through the entire film is one eye. And it's not bad, but obviously nowhere near the iconic level as later designs like the hockey mask, you know. But unmasked in this film, Jason does look genuinely terrifying, and literally no joke. His overall strength in this film is also nowhere near like later versions of himself, but he still, still displays some decent feats such as being hit full force in the back of a wooden chair, and having enough force to stab a pitchfork or spear through two people's bodies, and he can of course survive the machete through the shoulder. So yeah, overall I think Jason offered some great, entertainment in this film. He always does. It's just what it is, in slasher films the killer are pretty much the main source and primary source of entertainment. So seeing Jason finally as the main centre stage killer, as the main rightful killer, because this franchise is about him, is really satisfying to see and pleasing to see, and he did not disappoint when it came to kills taking off the counsellors one by one. Also surprisingly enjoyed the final girl in this film, Jenny, who is actually, I would say, much smarter than Alice. I don't know if that's a unpopular opinion there, but yeah, Jenny was surprisingly smart. She isn't the usual type of final girl you expect from a final girl in a slasher film. She was actually pretty smart, and she even had the smart idea to wear Pamela's sweater when she comes across it in the shack. And then she actually managed, Jason isn't exactly smart, but he isn't exactly stupid either at the same time, I guess. She managed, at least basically my point is, she managed to basically make Jason think that she was his mum. She was basically putting on the sweater and then pretending she was Pamela Voorhees. That's what she done. It was pretty smart, I guess. And she didn't just stand there and scream. She had to try and make attempts to run or escape from Jason, so that's pretty good. For example, Jason was climbing all over a car, and then she just opens the door and then knocks Jason over. That's smart stuff. And then the way she just stabs or swings that machete into his shoulder at the end is a nice touch. She was actually a decent final girl, and I really enjoyed her performance from, I think it's Amy Steele. Anyways, my negatives for this film. The first thing is just the complete plot and story of the film was literally copy and paste of the first film. The only difference being really is Jason as the killer instead of Pamela, but the rest is exactly the same. I guess I should have expected that, especially considering it's a Friday the 13th sequel, and the sequels literally all bring the same plot and story. There is no difference whatsoever, maybe with the exceptions of part 4 and 8, I want to say. But anyways, yeah, the plot is literally copy and paste, and it's pretty disappointing, but it is what it is. The characters as well, they, apart from maybe Jenny, are all pointless and bring no importance to the story whatsoever, aside from literally being targets for Jason to kill. I really wish they'd give more characters, or given more characters in this film more personality and just importance, because it's really boring actually. It really is. An example of a slasher film that made, I want to say, characters that weren't the final girl and final boy important was Scream. Scream was a good example of doing that, because apart from Sydney, you had Deputy Dewey and Gale, who are all, you know, not the main character, but at the same time are also important. So I really wish Friday the 13th had done that, because if they had, it would have made the film much more interesting. So one of my main issues was just the characters. They are all bland and have no personality whatsoever. It really is literally just a stupid camp counselor wanted to have sex, and that's it. Apart from Jenny, as I said, Jenny was smart and she was actually okay, but the rest are pretty bad. And I say that with confidence as well. I'm sure many would agree that the characters are pretty dry and shallow. They have no personality. It's the same with every film, pretty much. Maybe apart from the main, characters like Tommy Jarvis. But anyway, yeah, they are really bad and just could have been fixed and made so much better, but at the same time was just ignored because the producers just wanted to make a film where it was just kill, 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 kill. That is it. It's pretty much all I wanted to talk about Friday the 13th Part 2. I did really enjoy it at the same time, but also had its issues. It was, as I said, definitely a very surprising sequel. It was better than the first. That's been the case with another franchise now at this point. Halloween 2. I really enjoyed Halloween 2, and I would actually confidently say it was better than the first film. So, yeah, to say this was better just must show, for me personally, I just think the sequels for classic slashers were better than the original. Maybe apart from the exception of The Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I would confidently say this is better than the original any day. And it has a lot of clever sequences and thrills and good kills and really entertaining Jason. So yeah, as a sequel and a slasher, it does easily top the original in my opinion. So I'd give this film a 3.5 out of 5 stars, so 3.5 stars, and a 7 out of 10. It's a good film. I really did enjoy it. I do mean it when I say I thoroughly enjoyed it. So anyway, yeah, that is it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to. That is it for this first time watching review video. Stay tuned for the next one, of course, which will be part 3 as we continue our Friday the 13th binge watching series. And yeah, until next video, bye bye.